Tom Cruise and the Fellowship of the Bling. The day smelt of Fap Jacks. A weird smell for the town of West Beach. The town consisted of 3 buildings. The music store, a bank, and a 5-story apartment. All 3 buildings were in a row on an old street that led to the big city of Shadowsage. The bank closed long ago due to a robbery taking place by a gang of clowns. The music store only sold K-pop music. Jarl hated this. Jarl was the leader of this small town. It was only him, the music store owner, and a contortionist named Jim. Jarl was content with this town, for he has never left the town. There were legends of the dreaded city in which no one was allowed to visit. Jarl was fine with this, all he needed was his pair of rubber gloves. All was fine. Until the day Tom Cruise came down the street. Tom wore the swaggiest black trench coat and knee-high boots. Tom walked with a groove like something right out of the 70s, but caught the look of a character from The Matrix. He wore a red fedora with brass knuckles on his hands. Behind Tom came a posse of 2 mysterious figures. Tom came up to the apartment and knocked smoothly on the door. Jarl answered the door. Jarl just stood there and looked at Tom Cruise. "Yo," said Tom Cruise. "My name is Criminal Power Tommy Dubs, but you can call me CT, the Cruise Tom. And this is my posse." CT pointed behind him. Out of the dark shadows of the night the 3 people appeared. One of them was Shrek, a green ogre dressed in a blue tuxedo. "Hi," said Shrek, "I'm Shrek, but you can call me Sniper Shrek as the savior." The other figure came out of the dark. Ronald McDillon stood there dressed in a green clown outfit with a money chain hanging around his neck. Ronald said, "Just call me Swell Ronnie R." And they all said, "The Fellowship of the Bling." Jarl just stood there. He said nothing and did nothing. Said Jarl, "What are you guys doing here?" CT went over to Jarl and said, "We need you, Jarl. We need you, Emperor Jarl Money Bash." Jarl gasped. No one has said his rap name ever since the Great Panda Call of Duty Quickscope Montage Battle of 2087. "How do you know of my name?" exclaimed Jarl. "You shouldn't know that." "Relax," said Shrek. "We are here on a quest." "What quest?" said Jarl. "The quest to find the great secrets of Scientology," said Ronald in a deep epic voice. "This must be a joke," said Jarl. "This is not joke," said CT. "We need to destroy the brutal phantom Bonzi ape who guards the treasure." "Well, where is the treasure?" asked Jarl. "Under the old bank next door," said Ronald. "Well, what do you need me for then?" said Jarl. "Just go over there and destroy the monster." "Because only one thing can destroy the horrid minister," said Shrek, "the holy hand grenade of Antioch." Jarl looked surprised. He thought he was the only one who knew about the whereabouts of the grenade. "We know you know where it is," Jarl said. "The Fellowship of the Bling, we need it, so come with us so we can go get it together as a fellowship." "Well, I don't know," Jarl said, but was interrupted by CT. "There is no choice, you are now part of the Fellowship of the Bling." And then all 3 members grabbed Jarl and pulled him down the street. "So why are we going to Burger Schwing?" asked Ronald. "Why not a McDillon's?" "Because Jarl said the holy hand grenade of Antioch was in a BS, not a McDillon's," said CT. "Plus I'm the leader, so if I say we go, got that?" Ronald just groaned as they walked down the street, the Burger King 3 blocks away. The Fellowship knew that crossing the street was dangerous, for their rival Fellowship claimed the road as their own. "Who's the?" boomed a mysterious voice. "Oh no," said Shrek, "it's the cult of the gruesome storm winds." "I hate these guys," said CT, "but there is a way to stop them. I can use my swiggity swag magical powers to blind the cult for just enough time to cross the street." "Fine then, let's do this," said Jarl. "Okay, on 3, 1, 2, he paused. So I just realized that I left my bling at home. Shrek, can I have some of yours?" asked CT. "No," said Shrek, "this is my swamp." "I'm pulling your leg, but really 3. CT ran into the street and a bling-tastic array of golden money shot from his ears. "Run!" screamed CT. Jarl, Ronald, and Shrek all ran as fast as Sonic across the street. CT was shining the bling right into the street, but the power was too much and CT was flung back into the Voyage of Pi billboard. "Well, we made it," said Jarl. Jarl walked into the burger swing alone. Ronald refused to go in there, and Shrek said there was a cousin that worked there that he hated. CT on the other hand just didn't want to go. Jarl felt the cool air of the industrial size AC, and the blast of music from the dollar store speakers. Today the music was Speeding Monster by the band Forgotten Twinkie. Jarl has always loved Forgotten Twinkie ever since the camp sing-along at summer camp. The burger swing was empty and smelt of old cheese. At 3 a.m. no one wanted to go to burger swing and preferred Riot Grill sushi. Jarl walked up to the counter. Shrek's ugly cousin was handling the counter. "Hello, welcome the burger swing. How can I serve you today?" said Shrek's cousin in a monotone voice. "Yeah," said Jarl quietly, "I want the endless insane tea." Shrek's cousin's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. "Okay," he said, "I'll go get it." Pope Dog Dwarf walked up to the counter. He was wearing a white robe with blue streaked across it. "Ah," he said, "Jarl, what are you doing here?" "I'm here to pick up the hand grenade," Jarl said. The Pope nodded. "I'll go get that," he said, and headed into the back room. Jarl waited and listened to Golden Drag Queen by Snot Dragon. The Pope came back with a golden sphere in his hands. "Here it is," said the Pope, and held the sphere aloft. "The holy hand grenade of Antioch." Jarl looked stunned. "Can I have it?" he asked. "Yes, but first I must bless it." The Pope touched the grenade and said, "Bless this, O Lord, that with it thou mayst blow thine enemies to tiny bits, in thy mercy. Amen," said Jarl and Shrek's cousin. "Well, you must get going, Jarl. I need to get back to clipping my nails," the Pope said. "Thank you," said Jarl, and took the grenade and ran off back to the Fellowship of the Bling. When Jarl came out of the burger swing, the Fellowship of the Bling was playing with an old My Little Brony and talking to Threy Smith. Jarl walked over and said, "Diaresis, stop talking to that nobody actor and let's go already." They all just looked at him. Jarl sighed. "I got the grenade," he said. Finally said CT, "Let's go, we need to get out of here before our awesome talents rub off." And Threy here, CT pointed to Threy Smith. "Okay, but how will we cross the street again?" asked Shrek. "We will just use the sidewalk," said CT. "Why didn't we just do that before?" exclaimed Jarl. They took off for the sidewalk. As they walked down the rundown road, they noticed a strange octopus followed them down. Ronald looked over. "What do you want?" Ronald yelled. The octopus came closer. "Well," he began, "could I count on your vote for—" He was interrupted by CT. "You know we already have a lot of crap in our story, but politics isn't one of them." CT then shot the octopus with a blast of his bling laser and the octopus went flying into the black night. "That never happened," said CT and looked at the Fellowship. They all nodded. "Now let's get into the bank." He pointed at the bank a few feet in front of them. The bank was dark. The grey stone was old and looked as if it was falling down. The Fellowship approached the bank. "Halt," said a deep voice. "Who is that?" said CT. "Show yourself." The giant doors of the bank opened and out stepped Tyke Myson. "Tyke Myson!" the Fellowship exclaimed. "Yes, it is I am Tyke. What do you fellows seek?" said Tyke. "We are here on a quest to find the secrets of Scientology," said CT. "Now let us pass." "Okay," said Tyke as he stepped out of the doorway and let the Fellowship in. "Well, that was easy," said Jarl. "I know," said Shrek, "there is usually a fight or something, but I'm not complaining," as he shrugged his shoulders. The Fellowship walked along the abandoned corridors of the bank. They walked and talked about how the ending of Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 was the worst movie since the latest M. Night Shyamalan movie. They walked past an old Kiwi murder vending machine. "Diaresis, stop, we are here." said Ron as they stopped in front of the vending machine. "Now I must say the magic words," said Ronald. "Sludge net," screamed Ronald as the vending machine moved out of the way to reveal a poster of the upcoming game Royal Wedding Oppression, Princess Simulator 2069. "Sorry," said Ronald, "I think the entrance is in the Hall of Barbies and Moon Babies." They walked into the hall past old poster of morbidly obese turtle returns the competitor to Royal Wedding Oppression, Princess Simulator 2069. "You know, I always liked the morbidly obese turtle series more because the story was always more interesting," said Shrek as they walked past several unsold copies of both games. They reached a small steel door with the word "The Pie Will Return" carved on it. "You know that's not even going to have an effect on the plot," said Jarl. "We know," said CT. "But really it's just filler, deal with it." Jarl just rolled his eyes and the fellowship walked into the door. When they walked into the door there was a giant, dimly lit circle room with harpoons, roast beef, and the Virtual Boy, the failed video game system. "What is this?" said Shrek as he walked into the middle of the room. Then out of nowhere CT, Jarl, and Ronald were rejected out of the room into a ball pit. Shrek screamed. "What happened?" said Shrek. "You don't want to know," said a small squeaky voice. "Who's there?" questioned Shrek. "It is I, Ub the Ogre King," said Ub. Then a giant hand the size of the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck swept down and ate Shrek with the three mouths on his hand. The fellowship didn't even know what happened, but they knew Shrek was dead. They later found out it was ogre cannibalism. The fellowship got out of the ball pit. "Where are we?" asked Jarl. "We are here," said CT as he pointed at a VHS player sitting on a pedestal. The room was large and empty as there was nothing but them and the VHS player. Inside was the movie Orange Juice Pulp Non-Fiction. Jarl picked it up. The movie was old and dusty. He studied it as it seemed odd. There was a loud screech. "What the hell was that?" said Ronald. The fellowship looked around. "It is here," said CT. "What is?" asked Jarl. "The brutal phantom Bonzi ape," screamed as the ape jumped from the ceiling onto the floor. The ground shook when the ape landed. The 10-foot purple ape plunged at the fellowship. They all quickly scattered throughout the floor. Jarl ran fast, but the ape was quick and swatted Jarl with his hairy arms. Jarl was knocked back into the dark corner of the room. "Jarl!" CT yelled as he quickly dodged the ape's blows. "The grenade, use it!" Jarl got up as he fumbled in his coat pocket. There, he felt the smooth surface of the grenade. Jarl grabbed the grenade and threw it directly at the ape. The thing was that Jarl could not throw for his life and it landed 5 feet in front of him. Jarl ran over and picked it up again. This time it contacted with the ape. There was a giant golden explosion as the ape was flung back into a statue of Shaniqualaquanisha Bonquisha. The ape laid the barely alive. "Come here," said the ape. "No, it's a trap," said Ronald. "No, I just want to say my real name," said the ape. "My name is Bonzi," and it was not. A loud sound came from the shadows. A bullet the size of a watermelon cut right through his skull. "That ape was just an annoyance," said a voice that sounded of failure. "I've heard that voice before," said Jarl. "So have I," said CT. "Reveal yourself," said CT as he pointed into the darkness. Out of the dark shadows came the great M. Night Shyamalan. "M. Night Shyamalan?" exclaimed the fellowship. "What a twist," said M. Night as he waved his hands in a jazz-like fashion. "Well, why are you guarding the secrets of Scientology?" asked Jarl. "Because I need you, Jarl," said M. Night as he pointed at Jarl. "I wanted you to come here and meet me," he said. "I want you to be in my new movie. I knew I needed to get you here somehow, I just needed to find a way how. So I wrote a story with you in it." Jarl looked confused. "You see," M. Night continued, "I knew that if you put someone in a story they automatically appear in, it's just logic, right?" "Well, are we still in this story, M. Night?" asked Jarl. "Yes we are, Jarl," said M. Night. "You, me, and the Fellowship of the Bling are all part of my storybook. M. Night walked over to the Fellowship. And since this is my story, said M. Night, I can do whatever I want, so now you all must watch my new movie The Visit, coming out on September 11th. M. Night played the movie. The Fellowship of the Bling looked away. M. Night looked annoyed. You know, M. Night said, you really can't have a fellowship with two people. M. Night got his laser blaster out of his yellow coat and shot Ronald right in the throat. Ronald fell onto the cold stone ground. Greasy blood oozed onto the floor. Jar looked stunned and CT just stood. M. Night laughed. This is my story. It's mine, said M. Night. You already used the holy weapon on that damn dirty ape. I know what can beat you, said CT. Your movies are so bad they make my eyes fall out. The only way to beat you is a rap battle. M. Night and CT stood at tense poses across each other. M. Night started with misquoting the Legend of Zelda commercial from the 80s. It's the Legend of Zelda and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, and Ulvas too. But with your help our hero pulls through. Jarl noticed that M. Night put the book that he was writing down so that he could do some horrible hand movements. Jarl ran behind M. Night and picked the book up. I got it, yelled Jarl to CT. M. Night stopped rapping. Stop that, said M. Night, but it was too late as Jarl wrote M. Night turned into a pile of manure and was burned alive into the next page in the book. M. Night was gone. Destroyed by his own creation. What now? Asked Jarl as he picked up the VHS movie laying on the floor. Well, the story has caught up to us, so I guess we just disappear. Or we escape this place because we took the treasure and it's collapsing. Grab onto my matrix coat, said CT. Jarl grabbed on as CT used his bling powers to fly right out of the book as a bright blinding light pierced them. The book was empty as Jarl and CT escaped, but it was not over, for Jarl felt the ending sucked and demanded something to come after the end. Jarl awoke with CT in a field full of cows. CT got up. He had the movie in his hands. The cows were actually VHS players in disguise. Where are we? Asked Jarl. In the field that all movies come to die, responded CT. The field was littered with M. Night and Joel Schumacher movies. CT put the VHS in one of the nearby cows. Jarl and CT looked on. The image was beautiful, showing the true secrets of Scientology. After what seemed hours, the VHS ended and self-destructed. The small explosion left Jarl with black dust all over him. I must go now, said CT. You can't go, said Jarl in a pleading voice. It's not the end of the story. I'm afraid so, said CT as he flew off into the sky saying adventure ho. Jarl never saw him again as he became a world leader in Scientology. As for Jarl, he moved into the field of bad movies and took care of the cows for the rest of his life. Don't worry about Shrek, as he won an Oscar and Ronald McDonald became rich due to all the Americans eating there. The end.